here having a interesting day. Um, I just got back into an old game that I always love to play, and don't worry, I'll be putting it on the channel later. So I hope you guys like that one. Sorry about the last game that I was doing. It was uh, it was a One Piece game. The problem was there were certain parts which was irritating to me because there were certain spots where it was good for a story, but the problem was there were certain scenes that didn't allow to be recorded. So I apologize for all the times where, you know, basically the half the video was basically uh, blue screen, which was not good. So I'm sorry that that happened, and I hope you enjoyed at least the battles that I got into. But I don't think I'm gonna do that game again because too many spots where like it could have easily been allowed to be. I don't know why they recorded it that way. I don't know what was going on with that. I found like that was the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in my life. I never liked it. I didn't like that at all. And mind you, I found it irritating because think about it. Half those scenes were good for story. It was basically part of the story. I had to narrate so you guys understood what was going down. So I didn't like that at all. Mind you, I had to obviously read it because of the fact that it was in Japanese. Anybody that doesn't know Japanese or the story itself, I was trying to, dumb it down so you guys knew more or less what was going down. Plus, I've seen a good chunk of it. I'd say, as far as all of, mind you, I am behind. I am super behind. But difference is, compared to what I was showing you guys, it was just the beginning. And mind you, it was a long road. It was a long ass road. I mean, it's from here to mainland Japan, all the way around, twice. And that's the kind of road that it was on that specific game. But if you guys want to see more of that game, more battles at least, hit me in the comments. And you guys love One Piece, I'll consider doing more. By the way, I do have other One Piece games, so I can do One Piece, just not that specific one. King, how you doing, man? And King Osgug, or whatever. Yeah, it's not any better here where I live. I live in the United States, and Arizona specifically. And ladies and gentlemen, it is Fahrenheit, mind you. I'm using Fahrenheit. I know you're probably using, not really. It's about 114, roughly, degrees Fahrenheit. 28 degrees Celsius. I have no idea how that converts. But the problem is, it is hot as a motherfucker. It is just ridiculous. It's so hot, man. You go outside and you see a rattlesnake wipe off its own sweat. Even though I know snakes don't sweat. You see the joke here? Yeah, man. By the way, do me a favor and do me a ginormous favor and hit that like and subscribe buttons. It definitely helps the channel. All you guys that are tuning in as well, do the same, please and thank you. I'm doing a bit of a subscriber binge, so I can get people to subscribe, tell me what you guys think, so I can improve the channel. And eventually, if I get enough subscriptions by October, I want to start doing merchandise. And that merch will be used for not only the channel, but I could also be using it to basically, do some fun activities that I've been trying to plan. Mind you, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I want to do a lot of fun stuff, but the problem is a lot of stuff I want to try to do, it would take a lot of money, and the money that I want to turn that into is basically through charity actions. I want to do things. I actually one day want to do a thing for the kids, for a local either orphanage or children hospital or whatever, and I want to do something for them. Put a little smile on their faces. Mind you, it probably won't be happening, but I do want to do that. Maybe one day, probably back another 30 years from now, judging by how this is going. I mean, honestly, I am getting decent amount of people checking my videos, and I sincerely do appreciate that, guys. But to be doing what I want to do, it probably won't be doing through my channel. And I'm mostly doing this just basically for shits and giggles. But that is one of my biggest wishes that I want to try to do for people, is at least once in my life do something for some people, because I would feel like I eventually accomplished something. Because I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm in that phase of my life. Yes, folks, I'm in my midlife crisis. I'm 36 years old, guys, and I want to start doing something that actually makes me feel like I'm alive. Like, and no, guys, I'm not gonna go into debt to buy a fucking Ferrari. Fuck that. First of all, I don't like big cars, for one. Second, I don't like big, loud cars. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the look of them, but I don't like the sound. And most of the stuff I binge for are video games. And mind you, again, I don't go into debt getting them, because why would I do that? It doesn't make a lick of sense to do that. It's not like I'm gonna go to a bank saying, "Hey, I need a $10,000 loan. I'll pay for it within increments," and there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm already in that point where debt is very imminent right now. So yeah, don't assume that I'm gonna be a dumbass and ask for a giant loan just to get the best gaming rig. Because honestly, folks, I can't afford it, for one. Two, I don't have any room for it, so there would be no point even if I wanted it. And three, honestly, guys, it would gather dust. I don't feel like I would be using it to its full potential. Because honestly, guys, by doing all these videos that I'm doing now, I'm barely doing the bare minimum when it comes to videos. My games from my PlayStation and these videos here, my walkabouts, I'm barely knowing how to handle them. I do a lot of configurations here and there, but they're basically cosmetic at best. Nothing that would immediately, bring out nothing too big, folks. It isn't going to be anything humongous, Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. I sincerely do appreciate the love you guys are giving me. I already got 3 likes on this video, so I appreciate that. And I hope I get to see more out there. and please, if you guys are tuning in into my video, please uh, do me the ginormous favor and hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel. Anyway, enough of me babbling about bullshit. I did have a thought that earlier. It was just I saw a video that was it actually kind of made me think that we are really really twisting uh, ourselves into oblivion. Well, and the way I see it, the way I say that is because there was a video that made me think, oh my gods, I hope this is not our future, because if it is, may the gods protect us, because that's what it would take to save our souls, because oh my gods on high. So basically there was a video about a lady um having the it was kind of funny. It was actually more of a joke video, but it's not all that surprising that it's not fake, because I've actually had customers. So basically, the video it was a joke about a guy having the smallest issue of comprehension, and the way I say that, and no, not in the retarded kind of way, just in more of the common sense kind of way, without the common, because apparently this guy had no senses in his head to realize, this is how that works. And how did you know? Well, it's kind of in the name. It's really hard to remember one of the actual explanations. So it's like basically it had something to do with like basically it was a concept for the store, and mind you, the store had like a policy, and the policy was very straightforward, especially when it was like through the name. The name of the policy was very straightforward, and the customer was like, well, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know that's how it works? It's like, dude, it says it in the name. It says it in the name. And the guy goes, huh? He kind of looks like Patrick Star or Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy. You know, the tall one, the one with the unibrow, the really dumb one. Like, honestly, Patrick Star was a genius compared to this motherfucker. Like, oh my fucking gods, he's an idiot. Like, you hear this story and you think to yourself, if this guy is teaching the next generation, that poor generation, oy, I really feel sorry for him. And mind you, I've dealt with this myself. I've actually talked to customers, right? I used to work at a pizzeria, and this pizzeria had this thing about we had something called a pie day, and I'm not going to explain what store it is, because it's too I don't want to give them any free publicity, because they really don't deserve it. I left that place for a whole reason. I'm not going to go there. Maybe in another video, but I'll anyway. So I left there for, like I said, a reason. So the pie day, there was a pie day, and it's what you think it is. It's a promotional thing. They're trying to sell more pizzas at certain days, like a celebration of the company or whatever. It's understandable. It's something so they can drum up business, right? Which is really cool, in the sense where it was a day where every hand on deck, right? So we were there, and we had a policy where it was basically one type of pizza, and it was basically it was a pepperoni pizza, right? And it was a drink, and I think, yeah, it was basically a meal deal, and it was very straightforward. Only certain items on the pizza for a certain price. Hold on a second, guys. Howdy, howdy. So this place had that deal. Small personal pizza, pepperoni, and maybe I could give something else on it, and a drink for I think it was like $15 at bare minimum, and that was it. That was the meal deal. It was popular. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people got it. And the problem I had was I have had customers come up to us and say, "Hey, for the meal deal, is there a possibility we can change the toppings and it will be charged differently?" I look at them straight in the eye and go, "No, sir. There's the policy's right there in front of you." It's like, "What do you mean?" "There's a poster right there in front of you," and he looks down and goes, "How come you don't, show them around? How come you don't put them anywhere else?" I couldn't see this. And I said, "Sir, look behind you. In line, mind you, this line was long. It was practically going outside the door. Throughout the wall, and including next to our prep station and next to the cashiers, there was, mind you, they put them in increments, so it wouldn't be that obvious. So it's like up every foot or so, the poster is being told that this is what it is." Ladies and gentlemen, people just don't read. A lot of times when places put out their promotional shit, nobody reads them. And then they look at the customer, look at the guy that's working, aka us, and they're like, "How come you didn't show us this before?" Or "How come?" It's like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "No, you can't," and it says it right there. And then if you want some extra stuff, yeah, get it, but you have to pay for it. See, it was that simple. And the customer looked at me like I had 3 heads. Like I looked like fucking Hydra or something. Like, it's like something that just, they don't have a brain in their skull. And if they do, it's about that big. Like, do you have basic reading comprehension? It's very, very clear. Mind you, I say that tentatively because I know people don't have that ability, or they have dyslexia or something. But believe me, folks, between you and me, if you do, I apologize. I sincerely do, because I have friends that have that issue. But if you don't have those problems, you don't. I don't see your excuse. Some people are just dumb. Either that or I don't have what's called common sense. And I'm using air quotes here. Common sense. There you go. Thank you for checking out my video. Do me a favor as you tune in. Please hit that like and subscribe buttons. It definitely helps the channel. I'm basically telling people that people are just dumb sometimes, where common sense is becoming a dinosaur. It's becoming extinct. Honestly, I mean, common sense and chivalry is the 2 things that I feel like are dying out. Chivalry, mind you, isn't dead, but it's definitely more people. I've had people give me a dirty look just for helping. I once or twice I opened the door for someone, right? Trying to be respectful, trying to show them a little courtesy. But they look at me like they are influenced. What? What's wrong with y'all? But then they give me that look like, I told them before. me that look like, well, I'm like, well, what? What's your name? Get open the door. I just feel like society is imploding. They don't know what to be offended by anymore. And they're being offended by every little thing. They even get involved with stupid bullshit. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. Do you guys remember Looney Tunes? So, one of my favorite Looney Tunes is Speedy Gonzales. And mind you, yes, guys, there is a representation of Speedy Gonzales in the Latino community. Everybody remembers Speedy. As I was saying, so you guys remember Speedy Gonzales? Well, Speedy Gonzales was one of my favorite cartoons because he had this real factor to it. Like, he had what made Latino culture. Honestly, folks, believe it or not, Speedy Gonzales was one of my few things of my own culture that I grew up with. I mean, don't get me wrong. My mom made plenty of tamales as a kid. I mean, seriously. But the thing is, as a kid, I never really had that moment where I realized, hey, this is my representation of my culture. My mom never really. She was Americanized. Let's just put it that way. She was very much Americanized. She had her culture, obviously, but she never really, personified the culture, at least not to my knowledge. See, as a kid, I never really had that oh damn moment, As a kid, I just saw it as how I grew up. And then it wasn't until like I was 16 or 17 when I finally came here to Arizona. Mind you, I lived in Colorado, ladies and gentlemen. Colorado was where I lived specifically, was very either chock full of natives. Don't get me wrong, cool people, awesome people. I love them. They're one of my favorite types of culture is cultures that are not of mine. So, like I said, the few things that I always remembered was. So the things that I remembered as a kid is growing up with few natives. Yeah, Colorado, specifically near the. I used to live in a place called La Junta, Colorado. Yeah, it's a very small town. I don't think if anybody does remember any of that, or anybody from there hits me up, please do. I actually want to know what's been going down there. It's been so long, almost 20 years since I've been hearing about the place. I'm pretty sure there's a big overhaul. I wouldn't be surprised because that place was small when I left. It was so small. It went from here, I'd say, less than 20 miles in either direction. At bare minimum. It was a very small place. Yeah, it's been 20 years since the last time I saw it. And mind you, this was around the time where it was, mind you, the reason why it took so long was because, again, me and my mom had this kind of a falling out of this town because we never really fit in because we were one of the 3 that I knew of Latino families in the entire town. It wasn't even like I said, it wasn't a big town. It had 3 schools. All 3 were the obvious schools, the elementary, the middle school, and then the high school. I never made it to high school in that town because by the time I, finished middle school, I arrived here in Arizona. And long story short, my life was just different. And mind you, again, this is around the time where I started, really, really noticing the difference between the culture that I grew up with and the culture that I basically was born with. And the reason I say that is because as a kid, here's the ironic part. Here, as a kid, ever since I was a little youngin', I always went to Mexico with my mom during the summer. I mean, seriously, I think it wasn't even that. I pretty much went to Mexico every summer since I took breath. And mind you, as a kid, I never really noticed the similarities. A lot of people say, dude, you went to Mexico. That's really, really cool. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's again, I went from one small town to another. So to me, it didn't really feel like it was cool. Just, it was just different. Because, there was obvious differences between, the where I used to live and where my mom's hometown, which was in Mexico. And if you guys want to know where that is, again, I could tell you guys. Again, it was just a weird growing up situation because as a kid, I never really truly fathomed the kind of things I grew up with, and it never really occurred to me as a kid that it was vastly different to the people around me. Never really thought about it because it never really came up, But when I started to see the similarities, the differences, it really dawned on me that my life was definitely different compared to most people, anyway, that I know of. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is pretty nonchalant for people that have duality as far as where they're from. So I'm pretty sure this is pretty common for like people that have like mixed heritage. Like some people going their respective hometowns or their respective places where they used to live, or places where it represents their actual culture. But like I said, to me, it was just one of those moments where like one of those light bulbs appear, and it turns on. Like I do remember it was around the time where I moved here is when it started dawning. Hey, how's it going, Baba? Thank you very much for checking out my video. Please, thank you for checking out my video. I love you guys. Anyway. Well, I mean, like I said, small town living is definitely different compared to a big city living. It definitely has a different aura, different atmosphere. Definitely a lot of good, interesting people in both versions. Because when you're in a small town, they have more of a close faction. They have more of a, hey, I nice to meet you, compared to a big city. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the big cities, they're not dismissive, but they're not as common as rural. I mean, they're cool. Like I said, I've lived in both. I've lived in both big cities and small towns. So personally, between you and me though, depends on the small town. honestly, because the way I see it, if the small town has everything that it really is good for everybody, like for instance, an entertainment center for the younger generation, and something for the older generation, then I don't think that there's too much of a big issue, because it applies to all everybody that is living in said town. Um, if it's just something like a community center, and I mean, I get I get the concept of minimalism, but between you and me, folks, I'm saying is build something for everyone, at least for the most part. Build something for the kids, like an entertainment center, like a Chuck E. Cheese, something like that, or like Barnes and Noble or whatever. Something for the kids so that they can entertain themselves, and for the adults, well, nothing too provocative, obviously. Just something where, like a bar or something, or where you can play darts or something, whatever. That's good enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be, something big. It just something for small town living. It doesn't. It's not too much. I mean, I even say build a little courtyard in the middle for like rural living. Like for instance, a little park, or outside the park, there's shops where people can eat, shop, have a little fun. Point is, guys, there is a lot of things you can do. Nice. I only know two languages. I only know Spanish and English. And that was only because I learned it since I was a kid. My mom used to speak nothing but Spanish to me. My dad used to speak nothing but English. So I basically learned English and Spanish virtually at the same time. It was like interesting. My education was definitely interesting. And again, it was just me living life. Never had too much thought about it until later in life. Mostly 15 or 16 years old, I started realizing, oh dang, my life is very unique. Not like Oscar Worley or Ripley's Believe It or Not unique, just unique in general. I mean, I bet one of the few places in the world I want to go see is Mexico City, the basically the capital of my mom's home country. I want to go check it out because, well, honestly, it speaks to me. Plus, I want to go check out. Some of the coolest parts in the southern part of Mexico, which is the Aztec and Incas. I want to check out the Aztecs or the Incas pyramids because, again, it's cultural. It just makes me think, well, it's like me. Nice. That is so cool. Well, I mean, honestly, I never would have the chance to do so. And mind you, if ever I have the ability, I would love for it to be through something I love. Honestly, guys, if I had the ability, I can turn these walkabouts into something international. That would be kind of cool, because that would give my excuse to show myself around, show my shit around. Like, hey, look, this is this location. I would love to check that shit out. Because honestly, I've always loved thinking about other people's cultures. Like, I've always wanted to see China or Japan. You know, I had a buddy of mine. Our running gag was uh, yeah, don't ever go to India because you're such an amateur. And I'm like, damn, bro, you think I'm gonna get uh, he goes he goes it's like, no, it's like, I do not, I believe you would be good as culture, but you would not be good because people will try to scam you fast. And I'm like, oh, you think I'm a sucker, eh? He goes, what is sucker? I'm like, a fool, someone that gets fooled very easily. And he looks at me. He didn't have to say it. I looked at him straight and I go, shut up. He gives me that look. He gives me that look like I just telling the truth. And I'm like, yeah, and I told you to shut up. No, it was, like I said, it's a running gag between us. And it's kind of funny because he gives me that look like thinking that, mind you, don't get me wrong. And I had to actually ask him this question. I said, bro, okay, no jokes or nothing. Is it advisable to go to? Is it advisable to go to India without prior knowledge? He goes, no. I'd recommend research before going. And I'm like, well, I mean, that makes sense. You're going to a different country. You're trying to make sure that you learn some, local politics and, things that, in case people get offended, He looks at me, he goes, yes, that too. I was like, at that point, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, great. So what would you recommend? What kind of things would you recommend to learn as you go? He straight up looks at me and goes, that's funny. That's funny. No, this is where the punchline goes. He looks at me and goes, I goes, so what do you expect me to learn? He looks at me with the straightest face, and which is one of the reasons why I want to hit him, I swear. He gives me that look like, try not to look like a big sucker. And I'm like, did you just use that on each? You pull that on me. I couldn't say anything because he got me good. I'm like, God damn, motherfucker. Like, I didn't even have to show him very. Yeah, dude, trust me, I'm laughing too. I'm laughing my ass off. And that's why we get along, me and him. He irritates the hell clean off me, but like, honestly, he keeps me humble, which is the one thing I respect from him for. Because I actually like him in the sense where me and him have a kind of relationship where we dog on each other, and we don't feel like we're being too personal because, like I said, we're just work colleagues. We don't really go out very often together at all. I mean, he obviously has his own thing out of work, and I mean, obviously, so do I. So but it's not that we don't, get along. We do. We get enough to the point where, like, in emergencies, we can count on each other, And that's the only thing that I feel like is most important when it comes to a work relationship. If you can trust someone enough where I wish I could have a job where it's auto work, where I push a button and all of a sudden it's just doing my job, where I sit there and play video games or whatever. That'd be awesome. But I gotta work for my money. Luckily, my job is so low impact that I like it for the most part because, like I said, it's low impact. But I feel like there's more that I can do, but I don't know where I can do it or what I can do. maybe this hobby here can get me there, but I don't know how to get it further beyond. I'm stuck at that level, and I know I can max out, but I don't either have the item. Yeah, I'm making game jokes, game references, but the point is, it's kind of like I said, I'm at that like threshold, right, where I can go further, but I either don't have the right job experience or item to get me there, you know? And I feel like I'm losing out because I don't know where to get said, requirements. Where's the bird? Where's the bird? Where's the bird?
Word is the word.
Is that the word?
That is the word.
I figured. Take care. Yes, folks, he's making a reference to that old song, The Bird is the Word, the Bird is the Word. If you guys never heard that song, it is the stupidest, most annoying song. Especially when you play it over and over, you will drive yourself nuts. By the way, folks, if you ever want to hear that song, I recommend it. It'd be funny as shit to just randomly go up to your friends and just go, "Hey, did you know that?" And you play that song. All of a sudden, your friend is like, "Oh, you fucker, get out of here." $10 says, by the end of that, you and your buddy or friend or whatever, you pull that shit on, will not only get closer, you'll be laughing your ass off. I promise you that. Because I've done it to my friends many times, and it's the funniest shit ever. Mind you, I try to stretch it out because it does get old fast. Because, again, it's very annoying. So I try to make sure that I play said tricks on my buddies within like certain increments. Like I will last months without even mentioning said prank, and all of a sudden, out of pure sporadicness, I pull it out, and I'm like, and my buddy goes, "Really, dude?" And I'm like, "Come on." Don't get me wrong, I'm petty enough to do it right in the middle of a weird conversation or an awkward conversation, one where neither one of us wants to have. And I thought to myself, you know what, after we have this conversation, I gotta have a little levity. So I go there, or different directions, but I try hard. What can I say? Levity is my thing. Oh wow, that guy must have wanted to punch you right in the nose. It's like that episode of Family Guy where Peter, the entire episode, it's like, by the way, did you know? And everybody's like, don't do it. And there's fucking Peter Griffin doing the fucking doing the monkey, playing that song, "The Bird is the Word," and he's doing the fucking monkey like Johnny Bravo. It cracked me up, man. Anyway, thank you for checking out this video, and I sincerely love you guys. Please do me the ginormous favor and liking, subscribing, commenting down below, and putting out that little bell icon. That way, you know when I'm putting out the next video. And it will be tonight, another one. Hopefully something better than these little conversations, or maybe just as bad. Let's see. It depends on my day. I might have a fun story. If not, I'll do some research. And by research, I mean scrolling some random stories, seeing if they're funny enough to listen to. Anyway, take care, guys. Be safe, and thank you very much, guys, and especially you, David, and all you other people out there. Thank you very much. This is your friendly neighborhood gamer GAMERDJINn, Candor, wishing you love, luck, happiness, and of course, a little magic. Take care.